All right, everyone. We have a new game of Kings and Kaisers going on. This is a sequel to our previous game, Operation Kraut Slaughter. This time we're calling it Operation SlaughterKraut. So this time the teams are myself and Krautfather as the allies, and we have the Central Powers as Moose Cow, and Chris also goes by Ironsides. So Moose Cow is playing the German Empire, taking that captain seat, and we have Ironsides as Austria-Hungary and the Ottomans. This is going to be his first, I think, full game of Kings and Kaisers. I think he's played before, but it was quite a while ago, so it's good to have him back. And then for the allies, Krautfather taking the lead will be Britain. He will be Russia. Who else will be Italy, and when China comes into the war, which I haven't even set them up yet. So, and then I myself will be the United States, France, and Japan. So it's an interesting combo. Okay, so there have been 2 rounds so far. I didn't do a round 1 recap, just because I figure round 1, it's kind of, we don't really know which way things are going necessarily yet. So, I would have to say, and I think the Central Powers would agree at this point, they are getting pretty beat up on the dice. It's been kind of a running joke in our chat for this game between the 4 of us. It's pretty funny. Not funny for them, though. It's some of these dice rolls have been brutal. But some of the strategic decisions have also been really interesting on both sides. So I'm going to go over that. To open things up, Austria-Hungary, of course, made its obligatory attack into Serbia. And as you can see, going into round 3, Serbia is still alive and kicking, even with Ottoman help. So there's still representing the Serbians is Russian infantry artillery that are still alive in Serbia, which is insane. So I imagine he's going to close that out this next round. Opening up the game, though, on round 1, Austria also attacked Italy. So Italy was brought into the war on round 1, which is not a common thing that you see. Usually the Austrians want to keep the Italians out for as long as they can, which is round 2. But they attacked them on round 1, so Veneto is still contested, and the Germans came down to help them out with 10 infantry. So it was looking like on round 1 that they were going to go for an Italy crush strategy. And it looks like, based on a lot of the other things happening on the board, that is not really going to pan out. However, this is going to serve them well, because now Austria does not have to worry about the Italian flank very much, because Italy is not going to break through this anytime soon, and they don't have to worry about protecting Tyrol, Dalmatia, the Balkans, none of that. So, so there's the German stack units. We have an Austrian machine gun in here. So they got a machine gun on the first round, and they got a trench works on the first round that they put in Galicia. So they secured their defensive position on the first round. Other than that, they've got, 2 fighters on the board? Yeah, so they built 2 fighters so far. And, just pumping out units. And he's trying to make some headway against Russia here in the Russian south. The Germans just took Romania for the Austrians, so they're going to free up those Austrian units in Romania as well as the units in Galicia, which means they're definitely going to probably attack Western Ukraine next round. So, moving on to the Russians. So, Russia has been doing pretty good. Krautfather's playing Russia. He's doing an excellent job. He attacked Silesia in the first round. So it's kind of hard to picture that because just so much has changed in the first 2 rounds. But Russia, using its units in Poland, hit the German units in Silesia and successfully contested them. And that prevented the Germans from, expanding out forward, basically. So I think it was a good move. And Russia right away built 2 fighters out of Petrograd to prevent German Zeppelins from conducting a strategic bombing raid on their capital. Another good move, bringing all the units from the Far East forward. He's looking pretty good right here. So it looks like the Germans did secure the position in the middle here in Poland. Poland's a very key territory when it comes to Eastern Front warfare in this game. And the Austro-Hungarians are moving to the Russian south. But the Russians have a huge army here in Lithuania. 16 infantry, 2 fighters, cavalry, and 4 artillery. And he's got a lot of backup here. So, with this whole thing with Italy going on, the Balkans being slowed down a little bit, and some bad dice rolls from the Central Powers. It's going to be hard for me to remember a specific battle that was really bad. I'm sure the Central Powers could fill me in, but there's been a lot of bad dice rolls. I definitely have been on the other end. I've been on the other end of that many times, and it sucks. But I think the Russians are looking pretty good right now. So we'll see what happens. Going over to the Germans, they opened up the game with a hit on Lorraine and a hit on Belgium. And the hit on Lorraine was, I believe, they did 2 hits on Lorraine. They did a hit on Lorraine also on the second round as well. So they didn't roll so great the first time, and the French rolled really, really good, especially their minefield. It rolled 6 ones and got 3 hits on the second round attempt by Germany. And Germany was left with only 3 units in Lorraine, and France came back in on round 2 and killed all the Germans there. And they attacked Belgium and took that. So things look very bad for the Central Powers on the Western Front this early in the game. And France is pretty strong at this point. So it's looking a little dicey for them. I think the move of sending 10 infantry down into Veneto, into Italian territory, might have been the wrong call. He could have really used those 10 infantry on the Western Front or even the Eastern Front. So I anticipate going into this third round, there's going to be probably a very, he's going to have to start taking some big chances as Germany. He's probably going to have to go swing hard one way or the other. Either try and go hog wild at Russia to knock that out and then bounce back to the Western Front, which I think that's the riskier plan just because France is already very strong right now and the British just dropped another transport. They have naval supremacy right now up in northern Atlantic. I think what he's going to have to do probably is gear everything towards Western Front defense, specifically in Rhine province. I think he's going to have to do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The good thing about this Veneto tie-up situation he has here is that the Austrians could focus pretty much 100% on Russia if they have to. So that is working in their favor. As far as the British, well, don't let me skip the French. Don't let me bury the lead too soon because I did something wild with France on the first round. Nobody has ever bought all naval buys with France on the first round before, and I did. So, and I built them out of the Bay Biscay right over here. And the thinking behind that was, hey, why does Britain always have to spend those first few rounds building up their navy, afraid of the German navy surpassing it? Why don't the French just bite the bullet, come up there, secure their naval supremacy, and then Britain can go spend money elsewhere, like in Anzac land or more in Africa or India. So, yeah. So as you can see, there's a healthy French navy up there. I took out a German sub over here, lost a cruiser, but the French had a decent-sized navy. Other than that, French just did French things. There's nothing really to report there. Going over to the British, though, let's see. He's starting to funnel some units into Belgium. But mostly the action has been in Africa, I'd say, and a little bit in the Middle East. So he's been picking off German territories. Obviously, he did the G1 declaration of war on Britain, taking out Nigeria, Gold Coast, and French Equatorial Africa. And as you can see, we are in round 2, and the British are already cleaning up that mess. The Germans just have a little holdout here. They're contested in the Gold Coast. They have a strong defensive position in German East Africa, but that's it. And the Ottomans are not going to be breaking the Suez Canal anytime soon. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. So both sides have trench works. Trench works has been the hot tech this game. Everybody's getting trench works. It's just it's crazy how this is rolling. But there's a 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4. An unplaced one for the French. That's 5. Unplaced for the British. 6 trench works, and it's round 2. This is crazy. So the British have a really good defensive position with all their allies there. Not likely they're going to attack Palestine just because they just don't have the offensive power. They don't have the transports with units yet. So, yeah. Other than that, they consolidated Navy down in South Africa. There was a moment on the first round where it looked like they were going to send all their ships into the Med, but since then they pulled back to South Africa. As you can see, the Anzac Navy has made its way across the southern part of the board, and they're going towards South Africa. Anzac units are just kind of hanging out. kind of tied up. You can't really get a Navy going out of Sydney just because, as you can see, the German cruiser fleet is over here in the Indian Ocean convoying India. So that's going to be a kind of a thorn in our sides for a little while. Getting on to Japan. Japan has already contested Qingdao, built subs in the first round, and now 2 transports, so it's ready to start messing up the German position in the Pacific. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the Germans were able to take Malaya, so they currently hold the minor city of Singapore, which is nuts. So that's another little aggravating thing we're going to have to deal with. And then I forgot to mention this as well, the French have taken Afghanistan. The Brits opened it up, weren't able to take it, and then the French were able to take it with 1 infantry against an Ottoman infantry. So what else has happened here? Oh yeah, there's another unplaced trench works. So that's 7. So crazy. There's trench works in the Caucasus too. So now we have a standoff between the Russians and the Ottomans. Getting to the Ottomans, they've built a little bit of navy, so that's always scary to see when you're the Allies. Like I mentioned before, they've been helping out in the Balkans. They activated Bulgaria for the Austrians, trying to help snuff out the Serbians. They've got a wall of units here in Armenia. Hopefully, it looks like they're definitely triangulating to take the Russian south. I think that's their only play right now. I don't think that they're going to march north with the Germans on Russia, but we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. And he's taken the Arabian Peninsula successfully. So the Ottomans are doing okay. Ironsides is doing pretty good. He's playing them shrewdly. So as far as the Italians, they really can't do much this game right now because they're locked up in Veneto, so they can't expand outward. So all they can do is feed that defensive position. This truck is in here, by the way. And just do what they can. They really can't send a lot of units into Africa like they normally like to do. However, they did break away one of their transports and activated Portugal for the British, so they did something there. They also liberated Rhodesia for the Brits and securing their position in Cairo, so they are doing things. Interesting buy on the first round. This whole game's been interesting. Krautfather bought 3 fighters with the Italians on the first round. It's pretty crazy. He's got one of them sitting with his fleet in 29. So the rule is if you have a dreadnought, you can basically have your fighter protecting the dreadnought. 1 fighter per dreadnought, up to 3 dreadnoughts, I believe the rule was. I can't remember. It's been a while, but yeah. And then they also have a improved sea mines field technology that has not been placed yet, which was gifted by the Americans on their turn. So the Americans can gift tech to at-war allied powers while the United States is neutral. So I've been just playing Santa Claus this whole game. Getting to the Americans, I just geared up, loaded some transports, and I'm sitting in C-Zone 7. Not doing a whole lot, just kind of being a weirdo. Put a bunch of units in Southeast United States. Normally, my opening move with the United States is I love to attack Mexico. Just get it out of the way, make sure the Zimmerman telegram never happens, and now this game I'm doing the polar opposite. So, fun. Other than that, China is not a factor yet. I haven't even set them up. So that's the first 2 rounds. It's been really interesting seeing the different strategies unfold. I hope the Central Powers start to get some at least passable dice. I definitely don't like winning a game where it's just dice, but I do think some of the strategic decisions that were made weren't optimal, but it's the dice have been tough. They have been tough. So all right, stay tuned. I plan to do a round by round recap instead of every 2 rounds, and yeah, stay tuned for round 3.